go live on another. Oh, no. Okay. Emma wakwa aba se waba la no so atiefo yesi yamamu nyina akwa aba biem ene nyame adom health is wealth program protect it no na yesi nya doctor ba ko ene yene no ena be twitwen komo ana ene na beti adwuma nyina Dr. Benjamin Bediako ewa ha ene ono ene yene no ebe twitwen komo na ene no adi sa adwuma yero ase bebrebe se wafa bre na ene so oni ye bedi sa adwuma nyame enka wo ho and the ability the doctor about so na dwuma dia o ma ye no ene obaka pain know your pain I know your gain I mean gain is a pain so your gain wo mo dia ene doctor be kire say obi e wo pain a o see one sam pain mo gain ne nim adekode a doctor be kire enti no be ja ha na me Dr. Benjamin Bediako Opoku Bediako ni fu ne pa me amofa se ba kope ena de ene no e be share alliance yamo akwa aba doctor anopay numere de ya mo akwaba
Offer we de me am offer back and me say me mo tiefo nyina so good evening o mo ye akwan for de ya mo happy belated Sabbath and me say ho me da na twa mu an we akoto de by your mom nyina ajo
yo da wasi atiefo sa fe na abala no so a ene de aye hu aye jujuju ede nyame ase ene first day a doctor ba ha be kire apomudire anase o be kire pain ho asem ene ntifre obi na obi enso nya dey emfre obi na dwumadie no entimi enkoso sede yaka no pepe no na answer no be se mo yentwa ba akope bimra ye ba ya pe na afede ye jai aha ama doctor na wa hye ne dwumadie ase.
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In Konw biaye sesi chain, the dead, as in takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real in common getting.
Yamamo akwaba biem eba erawan jumadie so jumadie ya to the say health is wealth protect it no aya pomodin ho jumadie apomodin ho ya pomodie health na anwumre bia memenda bia no nsia kono de eye adwuma anase yesua ehon asem nyame ayadom yetimnya doctor ahodo eba ha afi etwa mu nyina de na otwe bia de doctor foforo ba ema no be church ya pomodin ehon sem ene nso nyame ayadoro se de medical aka no ene ye ne Dr. Benjamin Opoku Bediako ena ne nso ye ne no eba bedi dwuman ene nte de yesen se doctor aba ente doctor ene de sabre de meja ha ya ma na dwumadi a de wo ma ye ne no nso wagya mu ede amai sabre de meja ha ma
we de mema atiefo nyina ajo eba ene ye dwumadi no eso ene doctor said to tell me say you can say you can say pain who asem most of us and I say yeah what platform is so there almost everyone has some amount of pain but near person who say ya to your this no pain no gain me say ya no pain no gain but then me person me a different dynamism about that as mantra and I say use. And then no na can is about knowledge, not N-O, but we are talking about K-N-O-W. Knowledge, no. Because at the end of the day, no, my aim is say if we know what pain is, then we gain out of it. It is no pain, no gain, the path in and out of chronic pain. A lot of us, and then sometimes, and most people have some chronic pain or the other. So the question is, how do we get out of the chronic pain? And how do even people get into pain in the first place? And sana, we even get into the chronic part. I think that is one of the things that the path in and out of chronic pain. Na twice no. Dog, I say one of the things that ye can say, see a case pain. Some in painful most about pain. One of them no, a define pain no as and me person me share your screen and that is you kakra pain no is what we say is a multi-system output, okay, activated by an individual specific neural signature. Me person me can no ya kasa no kasa me wi amachirem. The neural signature is activated when the brain concludes that the body tissue are in danger and action is required. Near part say pain dear and one particular part of your body and it produce pain. Yes, multi-system, meaning say you for your body now, you have so many systems. You have immune system, you have circulatory system, you have autonomic nervous system. All of this, you have musculoskeletal system. Meaning say a pain, a pain, a multi-system output, there ever. When body no perceive, say it is in danger. And anytime be a body no feel say something is dangerous, no. Body no respond by having multi-system. So at some point you get your blood vessels, your circulatory system, no, your musculoskeletal, no, your muscle, no, we say, or nerves, in any way say, no, all this system, no, was one way or the other act in response to any danger. And me person in simple put, no, anytime be experiencing pain, be when the body may be no. The simple thing say body no perceive some danger be some particular part. And the pain is just an output to just let you know, say, BBSC, and something has to be done about it. Now, example, back ya me say. So here is screen here. Your body now you 45 miles of nerves spread across our body. Now, as you can see, let me say, my cell is screen now. Or when me say that person can me print it, me de body kakrake. Ebebana nka yehu, but and then your screen nesono. You have 45 miles of nerves, and it's already nipa way u brain was roha, and now 45 miles of nerves are spread across your body. Now, 45 miles of nerves, and what they do, they say, almost carry information all across your body, and I say almost the information call. Normal taking information back to the brain. Entisenka military, nke beka say Pentagon a yewa hai, and command center. Ya okrowe to a military ni gada adi friend say intelligence. And now which year Russia and Ukraine and you may buy, there have been a lot of intelligence that is being gathered as to what is happening. The same way, no. What the nerves, 45 miles of nerves, and it does, and they say it gathers intelligence from all parts of your body. And anytime be a picking up information be a threat to your body, no. Then what happened? And they said, like a fire alarm, not to send you fire alarm or high. Where's the neck ging all the way into the brain. The echo now. We have 9 areas in your brain. My friend, a friend said the board members. They sit down and then danger na abano. They sit down to kind of like work on deciding on what to do with the intelligence na every field na abano. Enti assuming say onipa ne nan wa ha weti adadoa so. The nerves na wo honum na ye senses no perceive that threat and send the threat all the way into the brain for interpretation and as a response. So what we are trying to say is, in a nutshell, our tissues themselves do not produce pain. Pain, as we know it currently, through the science, and it shows, pain is 100% produced by the brain in response to a threat from any part of your tissues. And sometimes, and I say, obi nimna wa ankani ya. Obi say, oh, it is in your head. Yes, it is probably in your head because your brain is in your head. But a lot of times in the mistake that most clinicians are not saying, and they say, so because a pain is produced by the brain, or doing say people are lying or they are making, they are not telling the truth. Far from that. The point in it said, pain is 100% produced by the brain in response to any threat from any part of your body. And sometimes, my example way. So what here? Idea bit to see a friend is a phantom pain. Obi woha maybe through some you will say yakwa kucha 9. You try 9 and then 9 na you try no or experience pain. All those in 9 in here. So the question is, send 9 no produce pain. I didn't think you try 9 if you or that's what experience pain. The number one reason is because the pain is produced by the brain, threat na 9 at the brain, danger na 9 at the banner. The brain is still perceiving as a threat and that's all. All those in the 9 year you free. So all those in the 9 year travel, and now say brain has still not gotten over the fact that 9 does not exist in internal. The brain is still producing the pain as a response to try to get rid of the threat, although the threat is no more. I'm breaking it down. I'm making as a similar example. I have to say obia, I call it the burglary effect. I have to say obia obi akronfaba ofieda. Sometimes one say akronfo ne call police for baba be ye osise otifio. But what do you want? Anytime we be a ube refi hold be able say, what bibi kakra na dana ho adentia. Because in your mind, I said because yes say I can cast me the cast near waka na eden osuro sunsun. And I say etwitwa many be an osuro ayanda osuro so obeda ya. And because of that experience in our brain and our body keep a score of any threat that you've experienced. And most times, se threat eba in so 9 1 wechi we it goes straight to the brain, and the brain interprets how you are supposed to respond to that. Mamema another example. One will say obi nifieshe na ne ba na wo ho anase ne krama wo anase ade bi wo obi timi de ye friend say ade friend say mojahye ye kan say so odi mojahye otimi gbowura ho no akwa yi akra no ebia na we de ne crash onte until say ade ne nyina si awie na fe no obi say sa ne na akra mu abu ne na. The question is say ade na at the time and ade ne koso no want pain. The reason is very simple. when any threat and as a danger be about the brain, what the brain does, and then I say it samples your environment because the brain is not receiving information from online. Like me using military as an example, no. The military don't receive intelligence from one source alone. Almost receive intelligence from all almost field agents, no. And in the same way, like the brain, no, the brain receives intelligence from the 45 miles of nerves and spread across. But the brain at every point in time need decide which one is more important than the other. And at that time, no, your brain perceives, say, is more important. And the danger message are not probably the brain did not react to it until say, oh yes, say we by ansana brain no responded to the danger message. Enti na afe na wakoko sevu bibi no o experience pain no. Mema another example. Obi timi twa kwan mu na ne na twist. But otese car bi bana ebo here. What does the person? Nipa ni timi firi kwan mu ko gina nche ansa na wo say sa ne na no kra no twist e na bu. All because say the brain at every point in time control how we perceive the threat and some of the things. And then say pain is 100% produced by the brain in response to a threat from the tissues. And me per se for asa. Now, some of that neoma ebanene say there are so many things that a man Crawford get into chronic pain. Na me pese me fa time kakra bi na me chrechi mu kakra. One, new man Crawford and omunya all this chronic pain omunya no. Ya wadi a friend say adverse childhood experiences. Now, emra usana na se akra wo ho a akra ne nervous system no anase the 45 miles of nerves akra no will be a shall say a detective danger. Na anytime bia na akra no ebenya any physically and or emotionally unsafe environment, the brain no learn these things and put the whole brain in a protective mode. And I say it put its alarm system on. And so one and sometimes you won't say omo ya abuse ebi akra bia na say wona say obi na ya akra onya abuse onyini pe oben say that abuse ne have effect on them. Others say ebi be timid, ebi be some way they kind of carry these things with them. And sometimes and I have to say obi crack water bottle at the time na say a water bottle no ewo ho no ebia osua no na mepe empty water bottle na nka me de akira de we say osua no ne water bottle no eti say no empty ne nerves no empty enye sensitive that turn fresh. Now what happen and say osha say nya any adverse childhood effect say ya abuse no wa akra mu nioma bi ni atete ni we say bia all of a sudden, like nka water bottle, we say bottle no. Now we say me fan say sa childhood, I had to say senses. We say na a fairly bottle na bedru ha. Into meaning say already no. The nerves na shall say sensitive just because of abuse wonya. Na after there you go on. As we go further in life, one of the things I try to do in NNSA, we try to find some coping mechanisms to deal with that. Now, all this coping mechanism, we say, with kind of like the nerve is gradually learning all this stress now, right from the young age, And to me, say a crown, you abuse, into the nerve, I learn all this, are very sensitive. that intelligence, I gather that intelligence, into already in the brain have a memory of that abuse. And it has already put a crown on the edge. It's in a crabby or obi tian pet, not near machine. And as of course, situation be yes similar to near what suffer in his pastor or in her pastor. It comes to mind what they've experienced. Into all of a sudden, not brain, no. Until now, obey so a crabby abuse in the down, a bit me timid. Anytime we'll be best out, and as we'll be can be a resonating with their past experience and now putting in that state. Now, so obi ya cry na memfan say when some of these childhood experiences are. Na iwanyini, o nyini no, maybe onya health issues be. Health issues, no, major surgeries, injuries, incorrect diagnosis. All these experiences, will put the brain, in a state that now the brain, kind of like becoming more sensitive. You go further into nipa no brain na nanka first na empty bottle, no. Now yenya first abuse ewa ha asha say fill bottle, no. O nyini no wa sha say nyinya injuries be. Anyway, say some health issues, some surgeries be, major surgeries into the bottle, no, a drew ha. I say. Then we go further from the health issues, then we come, meaning say all of a sudden, your nervous system is becoming overprotective. It's sitting on the edge. Because of all this exposure, this danger now, and remember, say, nipa ba ku baby a wote no, o community a wote no, baby a wo fie wo no. Akronfo abewia wo. Nti the next time wo ba ye, ya sha say tutu etuo e wo ho. Nti imagine say wote baby a wo fie wo, na one ye wia wo, ye tutu tuo wo ho. Meaning say now there's a first red flag, second red flag. Meaning already the next time and it was to honum cry, wow, Kasana will warn you then ento. Enti obi asasenya all these problems right from the word go. When you health issues, what the onyini there's everyday stress as an adult. Enti sa when you're already an overprotective nervous system with all these things happening. Now some of this everyday stress, when you get an overprotective nervous system, it reflects in sometimes the headaches are winning, the stomach aches, the muscle tension, the back aches, heart rate and so many of these things happen. Because remember, yes, it's a pain is a multi-system output, meaning say your muscles are being put on a high alert because of what you've been through. Your blood vessels are being put on high alert because you are already in a fight or flight response. I say, your more blood, heart rate in a cholesterol. Most times, so muscles are tensed up because of all this high alert now. Nerves have been put on. Now, everyday stress, is now putting you in this state. Then you go further. Life happens. We have everyday symptoms, certain changes that happen. When say on the background, relationship status, or divorce, or whatever for all the stress of planning the wedding, and all those things. Bibi to say death, change in employment, COVID by and then Nejuma cause all of a sudden, Nejuma say. The financial situation assistant maybe onyini ne worry money you will go through some abusive relationship, some traumatic event, meaning say all this thing is now say ne bottle na nanka first e feel through ha say some of these issues na ba man say bottle e through ha e soro ha say. And some of these things happen then. After all this experience, they go through what we call the chronic symptoms. It gets to a point all these issues right from childhood, builds up to the point whereby the nervous system goes into a stepping point. Into a true baby, all these issues are the cup and I said the bottle is almost full. Into all it takes in say dakro okupeja akunya bi opeja akunya na no o need the strength to carry it. No, take care. Ken was the last drop into the bottle. Now all those things start overflowing. Nasa overflow of some of these phenomena are building up, is what we see in some of the things that you know. The back pain, the neck pain, the constant neck pain, the constant knee pain, the constant migraines, the constant all those pain, sometimes complex regional pain syndrome, fibromyalgia, and all the names are the man. So the question is, when all these things happen, the nerve already go through what we call learn pathway. But the good thing, and say, your body a very plastic. Plastic means it changes based on what you put in. The same way you learn, your brain learn all these things and kept record of this, you can also try to change the way in which you go through. And until sometimes, if you don't take decisive step to change it, it be MRI. You better catch yourself MRI, no this. You better surgery. But at the end of the surgery, still you are still in pain. Because bear in mind, pain is not just about the tissues. It is a multi-system response. And if you have all these things going on, it can come in so many forms. But the mistake I move brainy and say, when this learn things is going on, instead of doing practical steps to do with we don't. Your brain is undergoing changes every now and then based on what you put in today. And this person will predict how they are going to be the next 2, 3, 5 years. Look at what they do now. It's a good precursor as to what is going to happen ahead of them. And most time, some of this thing is what becomes what we call chronic. So they're always in what I call a downward spiral. The brain going through all these bad habits in any way, say, meaning say, certain things, what I call the body's internal medicine cabinet. Your body now produces certain things that help to control the pain. Your endorphins, your serotonins, all these things are internal pain medicine cabinet. The funny thing, the more now your default is just by pain, the body dries out the internal medicine cabinet. So at some point, I said we take external medicine to kind of counter the internal medicine cabinet because it's not working. But people say, how do we actually bring about the internal medicine cabinet? Having a good support system, having good relationship, having time to laugh, having time to go out and play, hanging out with family. Have you ever have seen say even so be work even pain more? Say ne na for ba mo no mu din komo we say at that point it won't pain. But once I mobile sorry, so mobile crash or more corner, all of a sudden we see now we see na yana. After the one we say na say you. It goes back to that same mechanism because at that time, your brain is able to switch off from the danger now into the conversation now more. And for instance, this COVID a lot of people don't have a lot of human interaction, we're saying, at this point, we are seeing a lot of people with pain. Because first, now go to me out, it me work it, first, because most of these things are the things that actually help to down the pain. Now they don't have an opportunity to do that. How do you go around it? By getting to understand how pain come about, the knowledge itself, give you an opportunity to do something about it. And how do we actually go about it? One of the things image here, hey, say you have the tissues, you have environment. And it is a environment very abusive. Or environment is threat. You are always receiving threat. That environment, coupled with some of the problems that were within your body, it always makes you be in a state of pain. My main example, now me patient to be during this COVID, none about New York. Now me trying for shoulder. And this patient will tell me, say, anytime you have a back clinic, I'm wearing shoes, okay. But anytime you be coffee, nor here TV, nor here New York, say what be epicenter, none about Honma, all of a sudden it was in any shoulder. No, she claims that she can go all the way to about 8 out of 10 pain in the shoulder. The question was why? The simple answer, and I said, the TV, the things that she's seeing, bring some threat. The brain perceives that threat, and it is ramping up the problem now in the shoulder. So a lot of times, you move say your head graph here, or you go through cycle. When we have the pain experience now, it's either we do something about it, or we solve it, we confront it, and we get out of it. But say why some of us goes into a state of catastrophization. What do you say? Hey, you say me into me movie, when you go through that now, for instance, the shoulder now I get stiff. Because I get stiff, anytime you'll be moving, now or getting more pain because the body sees the movement as a threat. Now, because of that threat, it is more imprinted in the brain. So the brain now, any movement by default in the shoulder is seen as a threat. So pain will always be produced. And until you get to the point whereby the nerves, you see all these lines now, the nerves become so sensitive. Say even a simple touch, and as we will so much. I dear friend say allodynia. To the point they say, so when you shoulder and now I say. I dear friend said allodynia. The reason is the nerves are so sensitive. Say because all this while all the information they get from that part of the shoulder danger. And in order for the brain to deal with the danger, it has made sure the intelligence now become more sensitive to capture danger so that they can protect it. But say that is where some of these issues come. Now, me show another diagram back on. Make us say whenever we receive danger information from the tissues, it goes to the brain. Brain, we say, make us say there are 9 areas in the brain that is responsible for pain. Now, 9 areas, and my friend said the board members. Now, board members, meaning say time in any way say a more technical. 9 board members, what they do, say primarily omunyina would you mudi. And the more mobile screen, we say my bobo din of all the 9 areas in the brain and what they do. Part of intimate say senka business board members, you were director of finance, your HR director, your director of operations, your director for this, your board members. Now, what happened? Then say, at every point in time, any of this part of the brain is responsible for some activity. If at every point in time, they are being drawn into board meetings, in the main fan say, Dr. says to see a very good at finance, into one director of finance. Yeah, creating a company called Brain Incorporated. Brain Incorporated, and your branches all around the United States. And I say Ghana, baby, we free beyond. And the headquarters at DMV, Washington, D.C. Dr. Say to sue NAA director of finance. And I branch at Ghana, no. There be a danger messages no send the bray. Anytime be a better from Hono. Into your branch now Ghana is like our shoulder branch of Brain Incorporated. Anytime be an all the message we get from that branch in a danger. And because of that, there be an director of finance, director of logistics, there be a board meeting trying to figure out how to help Brain Incorporated branch na e shoulder no. Because of that, Juma as a director of finance, Dr. Say to now he has to divide his time to come to the board meeting and also find time to deal with the finance requirement of the company. And at some point in time, Dr. Say to office, finance no ata and fast pally up. Time I think or the financial projections, not how our marketing for anyway say marketing department director sorry at the board meeting. I say director of finance they be your friend the board meeting. HR director they be at the board meeting. And the bedroom baby what happened is the 9 areas are you who has some of them is for focus. And to when you appear when you're chronic pain, after the say one of the things they complain about they say when all of a sudden they feel mentally tired. The reason they say the part of the brain that is responsible for focusing is always being drawn into a board meeting to deal with the danger message that is coming from the shoulder. Into the part of focus, also now they started to lose focus. Into director of finance, say company onya time in dealing with it. Director for marketing director. Time I saw put the strategy, send a Brain Incorporated. You bet marketing, near project, near revenue. No, say marketing department and strategic meetings and so on and stuff. Because they be at the board meeting. In the director of marketing, part of the brain is for problem solving. Into what happened, and say after the Nipano always, on to keep an appointment, on to solve problems, always on your problems. There's a part of the brain that is also part of these board members. We call the amygdala. It is responsible for fear. And I'm saying danger, now the board members and to Mr. Chance and I can say, okay, director of fear, you need to increase your activity. Director of movement, reduce your activity. Into the bedroom, baby, always any panel officer or move bio. Fear no goes up. Into anytime the person moving the honor, but osro. Because you are increasing the activity of director of fear, you are reducing the activity of director of movement. Your baby, your brain maps. I have a friend said the homunculus. A bedroom baby in that part of the brain, and so no. We say nipano, and I'm say oh moving the shoulder no. The movement, the brain map na a hornum no. We say na say yes smoked after the whole be blurry. And I'm saying why blurry, no, and I'm saying all moving the shoulder for a very long time, After the way I saw moving the shoulder, to cast all man and Saswa, but no in the shoulder, or you say, or you see the body in the left. One here, all of a sudden, they forget that even that part even exists. Part of the 9 part of the board members is also for memory. And until a bit drew how we say everyone. People who are in chronic pain, always say, almost as a fear there. And sometimes, and you're more. Obi or why drew baby only motivation. They start to lack motivation. Obi oha, then some part of the brain no is responsible for your stress regulation. Into the doctors say do baby always say the stress level, the cortisol level no goes through because you are getting danger. Danger not meaning say then we need to fight. They are constantly in fight or a flight or fight response. Into taking the cortisol level a goes through say increased cortisol in blood no will cause other systemic effects. The blood pressure cause ne we say when you have constriction we so drew on ultimate na okwa because say ye kwa mano de sumina so sebio nipa e wo Ukraine sambre enya sa atama ye to bomb na woda enti na sometimes omo chronic pain no after okwa ontimi nyeden enna and the more na wontimi na no wo sori anopa why agitated into sori anopa na obekata no anadwo nyina wonai wo kasa ne ho a wo ye ni kuna na so wo ye den yere a wo kasa ne ho na ne buafu enya ono a. So most time these are the things that actually causes a lot of the problems. And this is a pain. Basically, these are some of the things that my pain ever.
Yo, for say baby the doctor say you beko break akana fe doctor apinsu bia nom na wasan ababeto so na wobana say wo question bia 5109310946 in your so ubetimi afresh question me so which doctor na fe watimi ato so ama enti yenkotwa ehomra bra ye commercial ya boafo no ye so mo so asene no yenkoti om krato emra e ba doctor abeto so.
Hello, beautiful people of Ghana. This is Banahine Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At Banahine Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have x-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs and you will be happy you did because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you and stay blessed.
If we say oje na doye wo hoda ye ne odwumtumi asa wo bebi akoba ya adrense erade aseda ye bebre se ye hwe na doye na ya resa ene ne bambo a onyame aseda ye bebre esa wo nti no Ghana Choral Music Mina Bishop Sam Asari Bediako ahihye CD foforo kra watuni din aseda bebre na CD obebi esontuma March 12, 22 shia ye wo North Bronx Ghanaian SDA Church I was 401 Castle Hill Avenue, Bronx, New York. Time I 3 p.m. Ecosin 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Na adwumtofo bebre ebe was adwumadi yase. Yewo Royal Advent Choir, Stephen Owusu and the Echoes, Stephen Befi, Justina Seyusu, John Adjomoni, Efia Ajutumo, New England Ghanaian SDA Church Choir, Lakeview Ghanaian SDA Church Choir, North Bronx Choir, First Ghana Choir, any adwumtofo bebre omokeka ho. Ebia bibiri ntumi mba dwumadi crowd betima hwe no Zoom. The Zoom ID is 718-333-7777 and your password is 401401. So Abia will share more information who can inform me. Philip Owusu Achia 646-474-3185. Bafo Sewusu 347-998-7462. Sam Asari Bediako 647-780-3560. Ebia want to boss at the boy Jumedia, Betima Zelia, Naso Betima Kasha Piamay, Ewa 929-303-1538. Yabaya live on so Ewa Sam Asari Bediako Facebook and YouTube channel. Asida Bebre album launch with Sam Asari Bediako, aka Bishop. Shia March 12, 2022. Now be in Shira. Nakupon Inshra, Midiani Obesima Bagofe.
Yo, yamama akwa babiem eba around you so health is wealth program and egusu ayeno. Yene Dr. Benjamin Opoku Bediako and na nwumre nyame de na ma yene no edi sai dwumai. Answer Dr. Betwa ne lecture answer na edition so question me unu bia ba amount for that person be say doctor na ochem. Doctor me pacho question aba na say obi people say where is my pain located? Is it in the brain or where?
Okay. So instead of me can and I said only from here. Say your brain is located in one place and you move in your traffic. But that and can surgery and gay baby no and your brain has no one specific location. And send a midi can no and untina me spend time need to show the 9 areas. Let me say before say your commercial no. I showed the 9 areas are responsible for pain. And like I said, pain is a multi-system output when your brain perceives a threat. But there are 9 areas that are responsible to bring about that response. Now your friend the pain. And any particular location in your brain and are responsible for the pain. There are 9 areas that are responsible. But some 9 areas, primarily, they are not, or more primary role is not about pain. Their primary role was almost so many roles I will play. Ebi nam can say ebi is for problem solving, ebi is for focus, ebi for stress response, ebi for muscle movement, your premotor cortex. All these 9 areas. One of them is also for fear, amygdala. So all these 9 areas, are responsible for pain. So pain is not located at one point. Yes, sir. And ka surgery say cause we okruma and ka wo kona so we pain. In the song go mbe wo sa call this short and ka call ya na nke etwa sa part na free. So pain is not located at one particular, but let me reiterate to say pain is produced 100% from the brain in response to a threat. But I say in response to a threat. Threats can be a form of physical threat or emotional threat or things we hear from our ears, things we see, and all of them can be a threat. Because most time in comforting say, pain. But people can get pain through emotions. Our brain is influenced by our environment, the things that we are exposed to. My patient omoba me clinic and as we so me say me ba han ma me okay. Me ra mama all of a sudden me sisi it yare na aba eye me ya den. The question is why? Is the pain located at the office or? No. The problem is there is something in the office a threat. Anytime be obeko be an na heading. I trigger the danger. No, it could be any colleagues, it could be any boss be, it could be obi wa okofia nikuna na se ne yere ade bi oba into owura hwa no na ni pay na heading. They get the threat.
Yeah.
And say no say one take care of that threat now catching and say they showed that if you take MRI you see when you suprascapular oscitis ni we say ntina would your pa kone surgery or your surgery ni we no that environment that still obey pain because pain is not just a one thing. Sometimes it's a more and also it is a multi-system response and then I'm passing in
Yo, Doctor Medase, you will be sure the question be about. I say, on the I know so on Otifie now uncle baby. If I said the whole day not for what, or we not honum yina and then so a dinner deba.
Good. Near the banner and say, me person me share me screen kakra. One say, there's also me the can say your brain map and because of your kind into me person me share a dear way. Once your body na nkasa no your idea friend is a circle of tolerance. Obiano, you have how much you can take. Sana your tissues na ST. Obia one capacity. Sebi obi betimi akeka nsemu na kire obi de em say oka asem kakada na ne buafu Obi wo ha ye beye ne nyina obi se ne bonye den emfu. Obi a won a tolerance level. The same way your tissues no ebi a won a tolerance level. Now this is what happens. With the tolerance level no, you call the next slide there na make sure. As far as your activities fit within your tolerance, you are okay. And the main fan say, o tolerance level no this cap, this bottle is cramming, and only na your tolerance capacity. Bottle weigh 300 mils, 500 mils. And the ABA tolerance level no for sitting here 500, and 500 yes, will be to matter for 3 hours. And to say, as far as these are some of the activities I'm just using as an example. As far as your activities fit within your tolerance, you are okay. But dog, say sometimes this is what happens. Sometimes we do too little for too long. Me repeat it. Sometimes we do what? Too little for too long. And say, obi wohwa ultimate tenacity for a long time. And for first, nanka ultimate tenacity for 5 hours and son away baby ne baby ya say or tenacity for 30 minutes be na nesisi ya. What your body is trying to tell you nene say o back muscles now who use the tenacity at first it has a higher capacity. Maybe because of exercise be on our way, activity be our way, now it put the strength in a higher capacity. Because you've stopped doing all those activities, now capacity for the lower back muscles, now capacity now I reduce it to the point whereby now you've done too little for too long into capacity now reduce. Mami use Sika as an example. Because a lot of us relate very well with money. Means answer first, now we're making $100,000 a year. COVID about you will lose you are not working so much. And they say you are not making 100,000, probably you are making like 60,000. Me say Dr. when I more year finance. Say first na me making 100,000. Na say me see kana so atia ba bi 70. Most time, what will you as a financial expert recommend? Can I continue to work and I say spend the way I used to spend and I say me reduce my expenditure.
I say reduce expenditure.
Say me reduce but assuming say me reduce my expenditure, what do I have to do?
I say when you say oh yeah, you can open your for account.
Me yeah, you can home. Now me make it that income no.
Right.
Yeah. The same thing happens to a tissue. Say at some point in time, our capacity for the back have reduced. Meaning, say you need to increase the capacity by building enough strength or senebeya and then senebeya says yeah they would because you are using it. And because you are using the tissues, they need to have the capacity to actually go through the use now we use But I say
yeah.
Okano, mami use Okano fuel na woman. Who person will call 100 miles. Also fuel like what car no bet me the way to 20 miles a pair. After the ultra 20 miles and red light and about the so I was then me do 20 miles no o catch the car and farming cobium. Because we have fuel asa. And this up person the net was so I saw where then.
To fuel
ni bigum. For most of us, that is what we don't want to do. We don't want to buy more fuel into the car, but we expect the car now. Fuel now it won't be the extra 20 miles per, but we expect to say magically the car should be able to take us to 100 miles, whilst the fuel in the car can only take us to 20 miles.
No.
Once I say, but come on, Rebecca said it doesn't make sense.
Let me say, yeah.
But that is what, when it comes to health, we want to do. What our muscles now are weak. Remember, our muscles remember a dear way. Now me say me babetre we say brain map no. This brain map no one says oh brain no and one say body parts no and na show no. Their friend and said the somatocentric what we call the homunculus. That brain map way. genetically kind of like made, but structurally developed by our activity. Mami explaining. Nyankopon de mai, but it developed based on how you use it. And the body part now we use more, no, that part or that part of the brain it becomes more developed. Anytime maybe you are not using that particular part of the body, no, that part of the brain it shrinks. But
yeah.
And to say we this part of the brain, no, so we show that no, you are not using it. Once I will hand eso because ninja will hand our brain part and so and say your hand in you're very sensitive. We use our hand in doing so many things. And then that part of the brain and air it covers a wider surface area. Once a name, we use our face to do so many things. And then that part of the brain in a sono. And you know, say if you are not using any part of the body, no, the brain activity start reducing. But
yeah,
and the strength in that part start reducing. And bedroom baby no. Now this was your capacity. Send a midi can share, you know. This used to be your capacity. You had a bigger capacity. Now what tank I am, and you bet my driver from her to Pennsylvania. Okano ain't so red because now tank and I am you have enough room. But because as a CNO, won't use an area, you are not building the muscles and away so muscles in the as I say a week. Ain't the first and I'm saying muscles in here strong and with me transfer for 1 hour. Say I will transfer 20 minutes as I say. And this is what happened. Remember, I said pain is 100% produced by the brain in response to a threat from the tissue. And this is what happened. As soon as they say a movie, this is what happened. As soon as it says they see a first and they see no, you know, a shrink to the point they say see you're walking and as you transit 20 minutes pet. Na hit it then. You hit your mark, no. And I'm saying I hit your mark and say see no. O hit your mark now, o go beyond it. Pet na sa nerve na say sensor na on a trigger. It triggers a danger message into the brain that hey, we are under threat. Maybe Dr. says to do is taking us beyond 20 minutes of sitting. We can only tolerate that. And what can I say more than 20 minutes? Then the fire alarm it goes off. It sent a danger message to the brain, say we cannot go on, but he's still there. And the pain no be what's sorry. But what I say, to protect that part. So it means it means I need to build those particular areas and its capacity for that. Mamin go on. Sometimes we've done too little for too long, and your capacity and I say your tolerance never reduce so. Then all of a sudden, this happens. We go do too much too soon. Into my example, you move a bureau or to oh, and now Dr. Say to can say, Member so the moon page and a conyo, me Marco Janes one and Mrs. Yeding. Eddie. Because I am right, and you see, I have spondylosis L4, L1, then you were bulging discs. Well, I'm on bonum. But the funny thing is that sometimes some of these things were already there. You were not in pain. But this is what happened. Ebi a what way? So we squatted cramp on your day, on squatted. And all of a sudden, you've not squatted and you've not lifted any weight more than 50 pounds for God knows how long. And now, when I also doctor says to 2 moon one. And now also na kunyam na ebi akunya na so weigh 60 pounds. O back muscles have not lifted 60 pounds for like 5 years. So at that point, you know, dog, in monetary terms, you know, what are we running? You are running what? A deficit.
Mm-hmm.
The deficit now about in terms of your body and the pain now we're there. Because you've done something that is too much than what your tolerance can take. And you know, sikase all this one, all you've saved, no, $20. and wakoto coach bag of $500. All of a sudden, because we call a sales. Dog, Sikase me no obedeka and as on the car. That's what happened. Into all this one, we on stretch it, on exercise, on move, on build, on strengthen your shoulder, on build strength your neck, on build strength your lower back, and who use to into all this one and I heading a platform. Sometimes we use car as an example. What to car name mono, Yanko pon the car name out, who bought in your car. And the debut also who use so around Vanco servicing. On Vanco servicing. You can't have a car no service and we me the many time I made the service. A lot of that is the problem with most of us. And Ghana for are the worst culprits because I can say Ghana for because I know say you move a brain or platform so. I don't have time to do an exercise. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to do this. Anyway, say. By any rare if you say, oh, what did now we have time not to service and no now the copy is canon. But say one ye nakana e your body now also when your time in fan servicing no. Da ebe break or kwan ho no. Sa wo busy body now we ni nyina na be den. E tu be That is the sad part. You will be, oh, many time I made the best stretch it, many time I made the best exercise. Those things are the things that maintain your body. Mama phone are corporate, papa phone are corporate. We don't want to maintain the body, but your person you're sorry on the power. The car no should be in good shape to go use. No, but I say, my man, the last example probably. Yeah. The other thing I am tell who esuni. And I'm saying, the most important thing is say you better build the tissues up to be able to do the things into like into your lifting weight now 50 pounds or also to abia or to also that one left and you've done too much too soon when you've done too little for too long. How do you expect to say your back muscles will be ready to lift 50 pounds when for a long time all you've lifted is 1 pound? After that, now you are complaining and wondering why your back hurts. Yes, when you hit that threshold, it sends a danger message from the back and it says, we've been made to go through something that is more than what we do. So a fire alarm is triggered. Yeah. But most times, the other thing too we do, and then I said, this is the next thing we do. Pain na ebebano, the pain to say check engine light na eba where you come. And the same way you move be that attitude that you can. When who check engine light and it tells you that there's something wrong that you need to go fix. Sure. Do you know what some of us do? We go to the mechanic and tell him, say, but you check engine light in the field. So. Once at the corner, I check engine light in Yempese. Because a lot of us, what we need to do, we want an easy way out. Into the easy way out, and then they say, Mommy, into a lot of us, the easy way out, and then the pain medications na no. The injections na no. Anyway, say sometimes I tell people say, would they be sorry na when you're flat tire. And them say when you're flat tire, instead so be corner wakwa e be a tire no so kokosesa and also be find the reason why when you're flat tire de bia no. This is what we do. Ofa wawa and I say Costco and I say no what be a now the now the aba ade enche na say dey ajo na wakotwa bi agusu e bedru baby wan hwe adakoro de say twa bi su dakoro obetia na nyame amfa o nyame am anyu niwa fofia na so ye behiem ne ye to ama so ye ezie ni a
yeah.
Dog, may conclude most of that is what we are doing. So we are giving the injections instead of actually dealing with the real reason why Your body is sending the danger signal. The pain is a danger signal to tell you, say, there's something wrong there. Go find a solution to that. We don't. Yekoya ne anom edrono anase ne awo injection to numb the pain. We live in a country, and let me give the statistics. The US population forms just 4% of the world population. But we use 80 to 90% of the world's opioids. That is sad.
Wow.
We use 80 to 90% of the world's opioids because we are in a country where we want to work for money, but we don't want to work for our health. In the dog, Manusino, your health is your wealth. And that is why this program is so critical. And I like the team, no? Your health is your wealth. If it's what tenacity, that's what tenacity all over. I don't see the reason why I saw tenacity for 4 hours. We have time for everything but our health. We have what time at the movies. Yeah, there what time at the games. Yeah, but how many of us do we even have time? So within 30 minutes, within a day, me spending that 30 minutes, to work my body out, to be in a good state. You know, the because any time, my brother. But just like car na mechano, that is the brand new car God gave you when you were born. Car no ebella still based on your service record. And I'm a no.
Yeah.
Cars are most times they say yeah, accident in the besia. Or more service anyway, so
yeah.
It's ubody no. And your car yankopon the man brand new. Obi anyone yankopon no man no second hand car. Or my now brand new. But how long it will take us depends on our service record. So the question is, are you willing to do what is needful to service your car? So 1 year, your default and say your body will keep on sending danger messages to the brain, and the brain by default will send pain anytime they perceive any danger. But say me back pain, meaning say my back muscles have enough tolerance to say it will take a lot of work for it to trigger a danger message. But you move your back muscles now you're so weak. Your knee are become so weak to the point to say your frost test and your dani your one nenuntina your cockroach x-ray MRI yes you unya this spondylosis why? Because we realize that a lot of inactivity is one of the reasons why some of this come in the first place. Inactivity ne say oka na nam say won fan service in intina brake pad ne say no fan belt ne tin no hwan mo amonim car mo no all those things na eden say no because you are not doing enough servicing. Say can we take it time and can we servicing na and can some of these things, but the good thing is say unlike car no, our body is plastic. My main fancy work. Our body keep on changing based on what you put in today. I can tell you for a fact, say there's no lost cause for anyone. Into what platform so? If today you decide to take your own health into your own hands, now ube make it some of these decisive steps, and then you're going to take decisive steps, to change what you're doing and service that car now. I tell you, 5 years from now, can say 5 years ago, a few months from now, you start seeing changes. But if at this point, say who are 40 years, who are 50 years, now we need to get up from sitting to coming up. Imagine yourself the next 20 years, the next 30 years. Imagine your life, how it will be. Asem Sebe.
Yo. Atiefo yeda Dr. Opoku Bediako Opoku Bediako asibe bebre ewa adesua wode amaye na adesua na wa kire yempa amsa akase enoma ebia na ye na yenim no ma ese de service ye car no ye huni ye na ye hu mechanic kwa yempa nko na de ye bitama ya service eno na mse atiefo minim se enyina ba yenim entie bia You Mr. Doctor, and go on man no matchere mechanic way and fanco and all your friend to be another boy and may who say no man na yetime afolo am yetime de e you must said yes. Baby and never see free be an run TV suni and ne opinion and a doctor Benjamin Opoku Bediako and a net only digime or campaign once empire or say no your pain no gain. Sana no topic or na we a brenti and ye this year. Your man say bana fe obekire baby a yemfa ye pain nko baby ye nko service no because the okay nyina say lack of service e made the body na my fresh but ye service body no and na ma pain ye go through nya no e bia ye hia doctor nyame share da wase bebe erawan so da wase atiefo a high na ye di adwumadi ni nyina be se nyame adom na adom bedum ye na e da se ne ye besa atoa the health is a word and also protect is not your best at also. You think that we and it's here. Yami Adoma na your best share at the Senate. You don't want to be brave.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BISS chain, a dead, as in Takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete? We nyan konkonsa. We the real in common getting.